they said they save them, and they save their pork. They eat it, and then they say, what was it? It's pork. They run off into this desert.
Okay, we're streaming.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. You see the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item, approval of June 16, 2025 minutes.
Just to verify, I addressed this on the agenda incorrect. They are the June 2nd. So when you make your motion, it will be for minutes of the June 2nd meeting. The council had a June 16 meeting, but not you guys.
All right. So a motion to approve the June 2nd, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 2nd.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay. Ryan, call for a vote, please.
Dan Roy,
Yeah.
Mike Stamens,
Yes.
Tony Ring.
Yes. New business. So we have a new water and sewer application for 2414 Woods Road.
Good evening, everyone. Hannah asked me to go ahead and talk about this one real quick for you guys. So this is the water and sewer application for 2414 Woods Road, and this is for new insulation. Their facilities over there, they're building a new, like a storage building over there, and so there'll be a water tap and a sewer service. The sewer line is just kind of picking up snow melt and things off the trucks that are gonna pull through that building. And there's gonna be some floor and trench drains on the ground, and that's really all it's for. And then they have a grease interceptor outside the building for whatever oils and stuff kind of get in there. And so we've got the application here for water and sewer. The plans have received technical approval through our office, so they just need to get through this. And if you have questions, I know Graham from MLS is here as well. They're the ones who put the plans together. So. But it's pretty straightforward, just a sort of building.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. So, we have a motion to approve the water service application for 2414 Woods Road.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for 2414 Woods Road.
Do I have a second? Okay, sorry.
That's good.
Dr. Dunn.
I'll second
Okay. Ryan, you call for a vote, please.
Mike Stamens,
Yes.
Dan Roy,
Yes.
Tony Ring.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is pay application number 3, lift station improvements for RG Workman and Construction.
Alright, good evening, guys.
Thank you.
Tony, it's good to see you back.
Thanks.
Welcome back. This is tab 3 from RG Zachridge for the lift station rehab project. There's actually 2 lift stations being rehabbed, one at Willow Ridge and one at Serene Shores. This is primarily associated with Willow Ridge. That's been the bulk of their work to date. For this pay app, it's through the date of June 5th, and it includes electrical switchgear work, and then a big chunk of it is actually stored materials. They've since been installed, but as of the date of this pay app, it was stored materials for the submersible pumps from Coveo. So this pay application is in the amount of $211,612.45. We've reviewed it and are in agreement and recommend payment. Happy to take any questions.
I don't have anything.
I have a tough time analyzing it on the computer because there's so small numbers, you know.
Yep. Those scans can get pretty blurry.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve pay application number 3, lift station for improvements at the RG Zachridge Construction.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ryan, you call for a vote, please.
Dan Roy,
Yes.
Mike Stamens,
Yes.
Tony Ring.
Yes. Next item, inflow and infiltration investigation work plan, engineering resources.
Hello again. I've got a handout for you guys to kind of go along with what was sent as a part of your packet. And one of them is just going to be a printout of what you already received. I don't know if you can see kind of full size for you a little bit. Alright, so our office has been working with town staff. Oh, this is a project that's covered the years well before my time. But we've kind of been hitting this plan a little more recently over the past few months. Working with Anna, with Randy, and with Gabe, kind of putting together just a work plan to handle inflow and infiltration in the Huntertown sewer system. And so real quick, inflow and infiltration, often referred to, and you'll probably see it in some of my stuff as I&I. Real quick what that is, in case anybody needs a refresher. So essentially, I guess the quick way to describe it is all the sewer that is collected in the Huntertown service area is collected at lift stations, and then it is pumped from the lift stations to the wastewater treatment plant. One of the handouts that is a part of that I just gave you is the lift station service map. And so that map shows all the different areas that are covered by the different lift stations throughout town. And then from each of those areas, they are pumped, sewage is pumped from that area over to the wastewater treatment plant to be treated. As rain happens and the ground gets wet, sometimes that water can get into the sewer collection service, which then gets into the lift station, and then rainwater gets pumped to the wastewater treatment plant. The reason that's a bad thing is because you're paying to pump the water that doesn't need to be treated, and then you're paying to treat the water in the wastewater treatment. And so this can kind of disingenuously increase flows in your wastewater treatment plant and increase treatment volume, things like that. And so we have been working on a study to try to find some of the problem areas and looking at the data that we do have, and then using that, and then also just talking with town staff. They know where problem areas are, right? Like they know what's happening in their system. We put together this plan that you can see that's kind of the big spreadsheet that I gave you as well. And so it's pretty simple. The plan is to provide some different strategies to go out and handle these I&I issues. Kind of the initial plan would be to do smoke testing and manhole inventory. Smoke testing is where you kind of discharge smoke into a sewer line and you plug some different areas and you try to see if it comes up out of the ground or into people's homes or wherever. And that would show an area where water could get into a sewage pipe and then get into the lift station to be pumped to the wastewater treatment plant. That would be smoke testing. And then manhole inventory is pretty simple. You just go out to each manhole that's in the system, you take a look at it, see if there's problems, and you try to document and record what's going on at the system. All of that kind of background information to present this to you guys today. We just wanted to show you guys what we've been working on, kind of what's been put together, and start to at least discuss and start to have a plan for moving forward for addressing some of these things. And so within your sewer capital plan, one of the line items that was on there that we gave a few months back was an inflow and infiltration study and work plan. I think we had, I want to say it was a $100,000 budget item for each year, kind of moving forward to handle I&I issues in the system. And so with that, this year, we have kind of a few different areas laid out to address and investigate from an I&I standpoint. And so if you look on the plan, you'll see in 2025, we have the lift station service areas for Lima Plank, Woods Road, Byron Center, and the preserves of Carroll Creek subdivisions called out as problem areas. This is based on like lift station run times. We have data for how long is lift station running, and so we kind of compare what it operates at in a normal day versus operating after rain events, try to target where there might be some correlation between, hey, it rained, now we're pumping more sewage, right? Trying to find those, and then also just talking with Randy a lot, he knows, and then talking with Darren, who is our treatment plant as well.
Is this the first study you did on this, or
It's the first one I've been involved
This
with.
first one's you've been involved with, we've done several of these, in other communities, and, even in Huntertown, I don't know if you guys recall, this is way back when I used to be young, Washington Street, between, I think basically the south end of Washington Street up to Hunter, we did a pipelining project and structure rehabilitation project that eliminated a lot of I&I in town. This was way before the plant was even built. So I&I is always a ongoing project in the community. To answer your question, no, we're familiar with it. We've done I&I projects in the past in town that have been successful. Now that Aaron has seen elevated inflows at the plant, this is just kind of the next step in maintenance of the utility to free up capacity at the wastewater plant.
So with all the building going on, is it something that we could monitor and monitor, right? The locations, you know, and you know how things do, that things change too, the
Yep.
water flowage, when you get a new addition in there, you know, things run out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's the hope, and so you gotta try to find where it seems like there's problems, and then that's when you kind of dig deeper a little bit and start to investigate those issues. So hopefully we can kind of start to get a better understanding of where problems are at within the system.
I was thinking, Jim, some time ago, didn't we do where we put smoke in the lines and we followed it, you know, a year or two ago?
Correct.
Was that for
I
homeowners?
believe it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Was it?
It's been a while.
And it was actually in, one of the preserves subdivisions or both, yes,
Yeah.
so,
Over,
yeah. Those are not the highest priority to smoke test again, since we've already, because it's been done before, but yeah.
It was for a different purpose, I think, but
It was inflow infiltration.
Yeah, I think it would be the same.
Yeah, so the line item is on there for the preserves is, as that subject continues to develop, there's been more homes that have gone in since then, further to the west, and that is one of those stations that does show, surprisingly, some elevated flows. Normally, the newer lift stations, you don't see it, to your point, Dan, normally it's the older stuff. So, of what's even listed, we had, refresh my memory.
Yep.
We had
Lima
Body
Plain.
Center, which is
Yep.
obviously extremely old.
Yep,
We
Lima,
had Lima Plain.
Lima Park, Lima Point,
Yep,
Woods Road.
and Woods Road. So those three are some of the older sections of town. We just want to pick up while we're doing that last section of preserves.
And so, talking with Hannah kind of over the last week or so as far as moving this forward, I don't think there is a reason to like say, hey, we're gonna do everything all at once. I think you can kind of take a tiered and stepped approach to this. And so I believe the first idea would be to go ahead and start to get some quotes for smoke testing of at least 2 or 3 of these target areas, I think is what she said today. And so I think what we would like to ask for today is to authorize to go and get quotes and maybe have a not to exceed budget set for, I think $25,000 is what we discussed, to start doing some smoke testing investigating. And if you look at the small part of my handout that I gave, I went ahead and I just kind of threw some budget numbers for kind of each different strategy at each of the 5 areas that have been kind of called out as highest priority. Not saying we're gonna do every single thing that's on that list, but I thought I would give all the numbers since they're pretty easy to put together. Once I have the quantities, it's easy to kind of spit it out, so.
Just out of curiosity, is this a term, because I thought I heard this term last year before I&I in reference to homeowners. Do they, or?
They, I'm gonna assume I know where you're going with this. They can be a source of I&I if they have, call it illegal discharges into the
There's some
system.
pumps or?
They could be, yeah, having a sump pump that's discharging in, or something, somewhere along the system that they're getting
That's
water
what I
in.
was thinking.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why in countryside we have a I&I
Yeah.
on the homeowner side.
It could be on either side, you're correct.
Yeah.
And is there any federal, state regulations that we need to have a plan on the I&I?
really where the regulations come in is compliance at the wastewater plant and preventing sanitary sewer overflows. So there's not, a set, federal standard that you need to have and not a certain I&I plan in place. It's just maintaining compliance with your permits with iron.
And I think Jim mentioned it earlier, but this really is like a maintenance step as far as trying to increase efficiency and decrease costs and things like that.
And is that something too, I guess I should ask, if we do this plan, will we see at some point, so we spent $100,000, will we see if there's a way to track that, the potential savings or efficiencies?
The only way to track it is to track what the flows are coming to your plant.
Yeah, okay.
What you're seeing at the plant. And so, Tony, it's very hard to, it's hard to quantify because the weather's different every year. But in the grand scheme of things, if we move forward with this and do it across the system, should be able to see an impact.
Yeah.
There's communities that have seen 30% impacts. I'm not saying that's what you're gonna see, but that have seen very measurable reductions in peak flows to the plant.
And step one really is identifying issues. And then the next step would then be to try to fix those problems. But this really is money set aside to find problems. Because we can, even if we can say, hey, we believe that this lift station is pumping more when it's raining, which is essentially what we've tried to be able to determine. I can't tell you why necessarily until you go out there and somebody gets in and starts digging around and figuring things out. And then once that's discovered, you go in and start to fix problems. So.
Any other questions?
I guess the only thing I would not be concerned about, but just wonder about the cost to savings ratio. If the cost is $25,000, it would be, if we would reap the savings of $25,000.
I do think so, yeah.
It all depends on what you find.
Yeah.
I'll say Byron Center, talking for Andy, sees significant increases in flow after the events.
Okay.
If you can find one illegal 12-inch diameter storm sewer that's connected to a lift station, that is a tremendous amount of flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very hard, as you're seeing here, it's hard to definitively state how much we're gonna be able to remove. It's a,
Yeah, I didn't want to pin you
right.
to one thing, but it's.
It's a maintenance best practice to do this,
Yeah.
to eliminate
Okay.
those sources.
I do have one more question. So for the first 15, it has all three categories: cleaning, smoke testing, and then the 2028, those last ones only has the MH inventory marks.
Yep. As you get further in this plan specifically, the reason I kind of started to drop some of those stuff off, if you start to look over, you'll see it's the newer stuff. And they're really, from what the data we have that we've been able to look into, they aren't showing issues. And so you can do manhole inventory, and that's just good to have record of and good to have a good knowledge of what's in your system as far as condition and if there's issues that are obvious. But
Okay.
as of now, we don't see a whole lot of reason to suggest, hey, you should go further into investigating these things, because they're not showing any issues, and they're newer, so in theory, your newer stuff shouldn't have too many problems. In theory.
That would change if this, like, wet weather column started to show.
Correct.
change,
Yep.
then,
Yeah, if all of a sudden we were seeing, hey, every time it rains, the lift station over here, and I don't know, a lot of those are barely even doing anything yet, but like Copper Creek South, for example, if that one started to show issues, we might bump that up into priority or add on to what you're doing in there, so. And this really is, it's gonna be step by step, and it's gonna be kind of determined as you go along and see your dollars go.
So you just need a motion to start, I don't know how to phrase that, start a smoke test.
I just wanna get $25,000
Yeah.
to see quotes for smoke testing
Yes.
and bring quotes back to them for approval, or?
My understanding is that if the cost would be under $25,000, which I think it would likely be, that Hannah can approve that on her own, or I don't know if we wanted to bring it back next month, or, again, probably just depend on time frame and things like that, and how you guys want to
Not
proceed.
to exceed,
Not to exceed 25,000.
yeah.
There are a lot of people that do this smoke testing, or are you just gonna get it, or if you go to get quotes, are you gonna find multiple places that do smoke testing, or is there just like one source where you go and?
Yeah, there's multiple firms.
Okay.
Our visual does it, EJP, at least the last round we did it at that point in time. So it's not, it won't be hard to find quotes on this.
Okay, I have a motion to get quotes for smoke testing not to exceed $25,000.
I'll second that.
To okay it.
Okay? Do we have
Go
a
ahead,
motion for that?
Second. Based on what I just heard, you made the motion.
Yes,
Steve,
sorry.
second. No, that's fine, you're allowed to make a motion as the president too,
Alright.
so.
I'll call for a vote then.
Mike Statements.
Yes.
Dan Roy.
Yes.
Tony Rainey.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, if you have questions on it, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay, next is reports, town manager report.
She did leave me some things, she sent you, an email, her report, I think she does that every Friday. She did leave me a couple of small things, the 2024 Consumer Confidence Report, the water quality report, is out. It's being mailed, and it's available on our website, so that yearly commitment is done. And then the other thing, take one, pass it down, it's just, a progress report for Dylan on his apprenticeship program. Just an overview of his attendance and test scores, he's doing things fantastic.
Wow, 99%, what's that guy grades like?
So, and then from my end, again, I've communicated with both Gabe and Darren on wants and needs for the utility board budget. And really everything is tied to these large bond issues that we took out this year and the project list that we continue to work on with engineering resources and staff. There really aren't a lot of extra needs for the utilities outside of the giant needs that these bond issues are helping us take care of. So, but I will continue to put that together. The council budget, they're gonna address their stuff in September. I usually do the utility stuff in conjunction with that. So you might have your stuff at your October meeting, to kind of start looking over and recommend to council for approval. Other than that, I do not have anything else.
Thanks, Ryan. Engineering resources, anything additional? Okay. Cameron Smith, our attorney.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report? That's what we do, your attorney has nothing to report. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All say aye.
All right, we are adjourned.